Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Student, now we continue the second part of our topic, manufacturing sector of Pakistan or industrial sector of Pakistan. Here we start with agro-based industries. Agro-based industries are those industries which are fully based on agricultural products as raw material. These industries include rice husking, wheat milling, gur and sugar making, oil crushing, cotton ginning, hosiery, textile, carpets, leather and footwear, poultry, fish farming, and dairy products, etc. So all these industries they get the raw material from the agriculture sector, and then they process this raw material and they give a final shape to these products. The importance of agro-based industries. Agro-based industries have much importance in agrarian economy of Pakistan. Agrarian means the agricultural economy, because Pakistan is predominantly basically an agricultural country. Most of our economy depends upon the sector of agriculture. So this is our agrarian economy. Agriculture sector in Pakistan absorbs about 45% of the labor and contributes more than 21% in GDP. The living standard of rural population may be improved through the development of agro-based industries, because these industries are within the range of small investors, need less capital, local machinery, increasing employment opportunities in rural areas, provide semi-finished goods to industrial sector, and discourage migration of rural population to urban areas. As these industries they are established near about the villages, and the farmers who are busy only for 3 to 4 months in a year in agricultural cultivation, they have sufficient time for earning their additional income by working in these industries. If these industrial units are within their range or near to their nearby their villages, they can very easily get jobs in these agro-based industries, and they can increase their level of income. The main agro-based industries, the first one is crafts, that is those industries which are related with crafts. Herbs, jadi bootiyan. Herbs are used for making medicines. Wheat straw is used in making straw board, fodder for livestock and poultry. Cotton waste is used for making rough cloth and rugs, oil cakes, etc. Maize is used for making poultry and livestock feed. The non-crops, those industries which are not related with crops, these are waste of vegetables and fruits, are used for making paper and board, pulp, oil, etc. Processed fruits and vegetables are supplied in home market as well as exported to other countries. Number 3, livestock. Cattle are a source of milk, ghee and other dairy products. Meat and beef, goats, sheep, cows, buffaloes are reared by the rural people for earning income. ये सारे मवेशी जो हैं ये लोग देहातों में पालते हैं. तकरीबन हर घर में देहातों में कोई ना कोई भेड़, बकरी, गाय, भैंस वगैरह पाली जाती है. वो उससे अपनी ज़रूरत भी पूरी करते हैं, उसका दूध वगैरह बेचकर भी जो है पैसे कमाते हैं. Biogas and cow dung is used as burning material in rural areas. Poultry feed is produced from the waste of slaughter houses. मजबा खानों से जो है लोग एलाइशें वगैरह लेके जो उनसे पोल्ट्री फीड बना लेते हैं और उससे भी जो है पैसे कमाते हैं. इसी तरह जो है गोबर वगैरह से जो है वो अपना चूल्हा जलाने के ज़रूरत पूरी करते हैं. इस तरह उनको बचत होती है, ये वो जो चीज़ें बेच कर जो है पैसे कमा लेते हैं. The number 4 is fisheries. Pakistan has a sea coast of more than 500 miles, but fisheries industry is limited to 20 miles only. Fishing can be increased if the size of coast is enlarged for this activity. Production of marine food can be increased for domestic use as well as for export purpose. Moreover, fish farming is also a source of income for rural population. In Karachi, there is fish harbor, and in Kemari, most of the people they belong to this profession of fishing. They have their boats, they have their launches, they catch fish, and they not only sell it in the local market but also this is prawns, particularly झींगा मछली जो है, particularly it is exported to other countries. Number 5, poultry. Poultry farming has grown rapidly in Pakistan. The demand for poultry meat and eggs has increased very much, due to which its price has been increased. Poultry farming is also a source of additional income for the rural people. Poultry products can also be exported. This industry has a wide scope of promotion in future, as it requires small capital and simple infrastructure. Number 6, edible oil. Edible oil means खुर्दनी तेल, खाने का जिसमें खाना वगैरह पकाया जाता है. So Pakistan's production of edible oil is less than its requirements. A large amount of foreign exchange is spent on the import of this item. There is a need to increase the production of various oil seeds for extraction of oil. If production of oil seeds is carried on commercial basis, it can improve income level of the farmers more rapidly as compared to other cash crops. یہ خوردنی تیل جو ہے اس کے بارے میں آپ نے جو ہے پڑھا ہوگا کہ یہ زیادہ ملائیشیا سے پام آئل منگوایا جاتا ہے اور اس سے جو ہے پھر کوکنگ آئل وغیرہ بنایا جاتا ہے. تو یہ بنولے کے بیج ہو گئے، یہ سورج مکھی کے بیج ہو گئے، ان سے جو ہے یہ تیل نکالا جاتا ہے. تو ان چیزوں کی کاشت بڑھا کر جو ہے پاکستان میں خوردنی تیل یا ایڈیبل آئل کی پروڈکشن بڑھائی جا سکتی ہے. The Small and Medium Enterprises Development Authority, SMEDA. Economic growth of developing countries like Pakistan depends on the development of small and medium enterprises, SMEs. These enterprises need less capital but provide job opportunities for skilled and unskilled workers. This sector contributes over 30% to the GDP. It provides about 80% of employment in manufacturing sector and contributes about 20% to 25% of the export earnings. Keeping in view the need of financing in this sector, the government of Pakistan has established a microcredit bank and an advisory body, namely Small and Medium Enterprises Development Authority, that is SMEDA, in 1998 for the growth of SME sector. SMEDA provides technical guidance to potential small investors. SMEDA performs the following functions. Number 1, it serves as a resource base for SMEs. Number 2, it helps people to get large job opportunities. Number 3, it promotes value added exports. Value added means that a thing which is step by step processed, then at every step its value is added or it becomes more value. For example, wheat. When wheat is processed, it becomes flour and its price is increased. Then that flour is converted into fine, then its value is also again added. And then when fine maida is used for preparing bread, then its value again is increased. So this is value addition. That is, at every step the value of that product is going on increasing. This is value addition. Number 4, it coordinates with Small Business Finance Corporation, SBFC, and commercial banks to arrange finance for SME sector. That is, SMEDA arranges for loans for the SME sector, small and medium enterprises, from the Small Business Finance Corporation and commercial banks. In it, SME Bank is also working in this regard. Number 5, it makes policies for the promotion of SMEs and also provide technical assistance to them. Number 6, it also introduces SME support program. Now we discuss industrial policy of the government. The objectives of the industrial policy are: number 1, to help promote a self-reliant economy, value-added exports, develop skill at all levels to enhance efficiency, productivity, and quality of products. Number 2, promote labor-intensive industries. Major concessions exemptions were allowed to industries by the government. And among these concessions or exemptions were: number 1, tax holiday for many years. Tax holiday means that the government announces that this particular period these industries will not have to pay tax to the government. This is tax holiday. Number 2, industrial estates were established in different areas as Hab Tahsil in Balochistan, Tharparkar and Dadu in Sindh. The industries established in these areas were exempted from custom duty on import of plant and machinery. Number 3, backward areas of KPK, Balochistan, Fata, northern areas, Azad Kashmir, Dera Ghazi Khan, Bahawalpur, Sakhar and Larkana enjoyed exemption of custom duty and tax holiday for 8 years. Number 4, key industries of biotechnology, fiber optics, solar energy, electronics and fertilizers were exempted from custom duty on import of plant and machinery. The other industries were engineering goods, cement, dairy, mining, electronics and fertilizer industry. Number 5, some other sectors such as fisheries, textile, farm-based industry. Farm-based means the agro-based, or those industries which depend on agriculture for their raw material. And Marvel were also provided support through credit availability, technological guidance, and cost-effective methods of value addition. Then government measures for industrial development. The government has established many financial institutions for industrial development. These institutions are: number 1, Pakistan Industrial Development Corporation, that is PIDC. Established in 1950, it developed heavy industries and completed 60 projects. Number 2, Industrial Development Bank of Pakistan, IDBP, was established in 1961 to give medium and long-term loans to the industrial sector. Number 3, Pakistan Industrial Credit and Investment Corporation, that is PICIC, was established in 1957 to advance long-term loans, that is from 7 years to 15 years, to large industries for purchase of fixed assets. Student, fixed assets are those in which the capital is used and it cannot be taken back within the lifetime of that industrial unit, such as land, building, plant, machinery, fixtures, furniture, all these things, they are fixed assets. And the capital which is invested in these items, that is also known as fixed capital. The number 4, Investment Corporation of Pakistan, ICP, was established in 1966 to develop a sound capital market in the country. A student, capital market is that market in which the stock, shares, debentures, etc. are traded. They are bought and sold. So stock exchange is the capital market. In a stock exchange, the shares of the companies, the stock, difference between shares and stock is that a stock is the fully paid shares, and when a person pays the full amount of shares kept by him, then he may get them converted into stock. So share certificates, say 100 share certificates are there, and when he will convert it into stock, then it will one certificate only, that will be stock certificate, and that stock certificate will show the amount which he has invested in that particular company. Number 5, National Development Finance Corporation NDFC was set up in 1973 to provide finance to industries in public sector. Number 6, National Investment Trust NIT was established in 1962 to mobilize savings of the people and provide finance to the corporate sector. It invests in large industries. A student, the method is that people purchase NIT certificates from National Investment Trust, and the trust NIT, it collects the savings of the people through selling its certificates to the people, and that amount which is obtained from this process, that is used for providing finance to the corporate sector. Corporate sector means the companies. So it invests in large industries. Number 7, Equity Participation Fund EPF. It was established in 1970 to accelerate the growth of SMEs. SMEs means small and medium enterprises, and because the number of small and medium enterprises in Pakistan is very large, so this sector is also promoted by the government through these financial institutions. The number 8, Bankers Equity Limited BEL. It was started in January 1980. It is a public limited company which advances loans for working and fixed assets of industries in local and foreign currencies. Now here, working assets and fixed assets. Working capital is used to purchase working assets, such as if there is a textile mill, then it has to purchase raw material as cotton from the market, and then it will process it, then it will pay the bills, electricity bill, gas bill, and other taxes, etc. So for this purpose, every concern, every business unit needs capital which is known as working capital or floating capital. This capital is used again and again, and it comes back when the production is sold in the market. So this is working capital, and those things which are purchased by this capital, they are known as working assets. And fixed assets, I have already explained, that is fixed capital which is invested in land, building, machinery, furniture, etc. That is fixed assets, and the amount invested in those fixed assets is known as fixed capital. Now we see what are the causes of industrial backwardness in Pakistan. Why our industrial sector or manufacturing sector remains low or it is backward. So there are many causes. First one, economic causes. The first group of causes is economic causes. Number one, lack of capital. Huge amount of capital is needed in industries like chemical, automobiles, steel and iron, textile, sugar, etc. But in Pakistan, there is lack of capital, which is a hurdle in the establishment of heavy industries. Number two, lack of infrastructure. The basic infrastructure needed for the growth and development of industries are inadequate in Pakistan. Transport and communication facilities are insufficient, irregular, and costly, which is a hindrance in mobility of labor and capital. Gas and electricity are less than requirement. So infrastructure, it includes all the setup, electricity, gas, water, roads, communication, all these things, they are needed for the business, they are needed for establishment of industries. So this is known as infrastructure. A country with poor infrastructure cannot develop industries or business, and a country which has excellent infrastructure, that gets a high level of growth and development of industry. Transport and communication facilities are insufficient, irregular, and costly, which is a hindrance in mobility of labor and capital. Mobility of labor and capital means that the workers and the capitalists, they may move from one place to another place within the country then will be mobility of labor and capital. So that where labor is needed, where capital is needed, they can go and they can establish industrial units in that area. This is mobility of labor and capital. Gas and electricity are less than requirement. These two again are basic needs of the industries, so they are also less than requirement. In electricity, we face load shedding. In gas, also in winter season, we face load shedding. The number three, load shedding of electricity. Frequent load shedding of electricity in the country is a great hindrance in the establishment and growth of industries. Number four, lack of foreign exchange. We export primary products. Primary products we mean which are in raw hands, in raw shape. For example, wheat, rice, fruits, vegetables, cotton. All these things are known as primary products, and the countries who produce these goods, they are known as primary producers. So all the agricultural countries are primary producers. They sell their products, agricultural products, in the world market on cheaper rates, and they have to import machinery, capital assets, etc., from abroad, which are costly. So therefore, they always are lack of foreign exchange. We export primary products which give us very little foreign exchange. Huge foreign exchange is needed for import of machinery and capital equipment from abroad. Number 5, limited market. Poverty of the people, low quality products, limited demand for goods, inadequate transport and communication facilities, and high production cost are the causes of limited size of the market. Limited size of the market means that the demand for goods and services is less in a particular country, and therefore when demand will be less, the production will be low, and when production will be low, employment will be less. Our most of the labor factor will be unemployed. Our most of the factor production will remain unemployed. We shall not utilize them in full extent. So this is limited market. The number 6, lack of industrial guidance. Due to lack of industrial guidance and consultancy, private investors do not take risk of long-term risky business. A student, capitalist or investor is always sensitive for the safety of his capital. If he thinks that his capital is at a risk in a particular country, he will not invest in business. So, if he sees that there is protection and there is more chances of profit in any other country, then he can take away his capital to that country. This is known as capital flight. So when the people are not satisfied with the industrial setup or the conditions prevailing in the country, they get their capital out of the country, that is capital flight. Now we discuss political causes of industrial backwardness. Number one, political instability. There is political instability and frequent changes in the government due to which there is lack of regular and stable industrial policies. Because when a government changes, a new government comes, then generally in Pakistan, the new government stops the projects which were continued, which were in between by the previous government. In this way, a huge capital is also destroyed, it goes into waste, and the new government, it establishes its own industrial policies, and the work is started from the very beginning. The number two, war with India. In 1965 and 1971, there was war with India, and separation of Pakistan created serious economic problems. All the sources were diverted to defense, and development was adversely affected. Number three, racial and ethnic disturbances in big cities of Karachi, Hyderabad, Quetta, and Peshawar slowed down the growth of manufacturing sector. ریشل نسلی اور لسانی جو تنازعات ہوتے رہے ہیں ماضی میں ان کی وجہ سے صنعتی ترقی جو ہے اس کو بہت زیادہ نقصان پہنچا ہے. بہت سے لوگ جو ہیں حیدرآباد اور کراچی سے اپنا بزنس سمیٹ کر پنجاب میں آ گئے، فیصل آباد سیٹل ہو گئے، لاہور سیٹل ہو گئے، اور اس طرح جو ہے ایک نئے سرے سے ان کو اپنا کام جو ہے وہ کرنا پڑا. کوئٹہ اینڈ پشاور میں جو ہے دہشت گردی کی وجہ سے جو ہے بہت زیادہ وارداتیں ہوتی، بہت نقصان ہوتا رہا. اس سے جو ہے انویسٹمنٹ کی جو فضا ہوتی ہے وہ ختم ہو گئی، برباد ہو گئی، اور لوگوں نے جو ہے انڈسٹری لگانا بند کر دیا. The number four, fear of nationalization. Nationalization of industries in Z.A. Bhutto's tenure damaged the confidence of the investors and industrialists. The policy of denationalization and privatization has not yet restored this confidence. The private sector prefers to start business or industry with borrowed capital instead of his own capital. In 1970s, there was government by Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, and he had started many reforms. One of them was nationalization of all the industries. So the people, they were very much feared of nationalization. Then nationalized industrial units which were earning profit in private sector, when they were in public sector, government sector, they went into loss. So due to heavy losses, again the next government had the policy of denationalization. That is, that government returned back the units to the owners, but many of them were so much feared that they did not accept it. Then these units were sold to private sector. In it again there are many malpractices, and the government and the nation has to face much loss during all these changes. The private sector prefers to start business or industry with borrowed capital instead of his own capital. Due to that fear, the capitalists or the investors, they do not use their own capital because they think that it is at risk. If the next government it nationalizes industries, then they will be at a loss. So therefore, they do not use their own capital. They borrow capital from government corporations, from banks, etc., and then they do business. In this way, the business industry is not developed to a large extent. Then social causes. Number one, lack of education. Most of the capitalists and industrialists are uneducated and untrained. They lack high technical and professional knowledge. So they have not the quality to run business in an effective way, in a successful manner. The number two, labor problems. By making trade unions and pressure groups, industrial labor in Pakistan are conscious of their rights and not their duties. They create many problems in the production process through strikes and close down. They are generally exploited by political parties. So political workers, they like that they should not work in the factories, in the mills, because of their unions or pressure groups. This practice is wrong, and it gives a loss to that industrial units. Then number three, profiteering and black marketing. The capitalists and businessmen are very greedy. They try to charge higher prices for their products by creating shortage of products to earn extraordinary profits. The examples are very recent: sugar crisis, flour crisis, and now again sugar crisis is coming. So all this is due to profiteering nature and black marketing of products. Then number 4, climate and weather. Pakistan is located in a region of extreme climate. Heavy rains, floods, extreme heat causes poor performance of workers. Their efficiency and productivity remains low. Students, particularly in the summer season, there is extreme heat in Pakistan in most of the areas. This extreme heat adversely affects the efficiency and productivity of the workers. So this is again a cause of our backwardness in industrial sector.